He's doing a speech from Pathways on persuasive influence. His speech time is 5 to 7 minutes. His title is Living and Dying. On September 13th last year, Eric suffered a massive heart attack and died. As it turned out, this was not a permanent condition. In today's speech, Eric will talk about what happened that day, his recovery, and what he has learned from himself and his life. Please welcome Eric Marquis.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters guests.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's great to be here today talking to you. Last year on September 13th, early in the morning, I had what is known as a step elevation myocardial infarction, which is commonly referred to as a widowmaker. Of 300,000 people a year who have a heart attack outside of the hospital, only 6% live. You can have a heart attack inside the hospital and your chances aren't that much better. Only about 24% of people have heart attacks in a hospital live. I had 100% blockage of the artery and no symptoms. I was asymptomatic. In fact, I'd had a complete physical 2 weeks before I had my heart attack. September 13th, I was in the backyard putting some things over the windows. Hurricane Flo was bearing down on Wilmington and that evening settled over Wilmington. And the winds were picking up. And I don't remember anything of that morning. It's as if my memory had been totally erased. Somehow I went from the backyard into our back door where our dining room is and sat myself down in a chair, or more probably fell into the chair. My wife was upstairs and heard something and thought it might be the cats had knocked something over. We've got lots of cats. And decided to come downstairs and investigate. When she came downstairs, she found me sitting in the chair with my eyes open and I was completely unresponsive. She went upstairs and got her phone, called the EMT, called the 911 number. They sent EMTs over. In the meantime, the lady on the 911 line started walking her through what to do. She got me down on the floor and started giving me compressions. They no longer evidently do the air into the mouth. It's just strictly compressions now that she was doing when the EMTs got there a few minutes later. That's luck number one, that my wife even heard me. I could easily have just fallen down the backyard and been there for an hour more. The other lucky thing was the Cape Fear Orthopedic Hospital is right up Wrightsville Avenue, about 2 minutes from our house. And there was an ambulance there which was then dispatched to us. Got to our house quite quickly, about 3 to 5 minutes. The reason that's important is that the type of heart attack I have, the protocol is you need to get to a heart catheterization lab within 60 minutes, preferably less, and have a balloon run up the blocked artery and get the heart going again. Otherwise, the risk of brain damage from lack of oxygen increases with every single minute that goes by. If you get up to the 90-minute range or beyond, it's typical to have brain damage, otherwise known as anoxia, which is lack of oxygen to the brain, and the heart muscle can become impaired. The heart itself can never be repaired. Once it's damaged, it's that way forever. So getting to the hospital quickly is very important for this type of heart attack. I got to the hospital, we estimate about 30 to 45 minutes, went right into the lab, and they ran the balloon up, cleared the artery, put in stents, and then I went into the ICU. That was September 13th. I left the hospital a little over a month later, on October 15th. I was in a coma from 8 to 10 days, and then sent down to another floor where they got me into kind of better shape, and then they moved you to another place where you rehab and try and get back on your feet, because laying in bed for 3 weeks or 4 weeks does terrible things to your body. All your muscles start disappearing, you get really weak, you can't walk. It was difficult. I went through rehab in the hospital and then was sent home, which started another session of rehab, and then eventually I got to a point where I felt strong enough we weren't doing rehab anymore, and I was kind of on demand. It's only been in the last few weeks that I've started to feel like my old self again. Before that, you feel like you're putting on a front to everybody, because inside I'm going, God, I'm exhausted, I just want to sit down. And you feel like you're in a movie and you're kind of going through the motions, doing everything you're doing, and it's a really disconcerting feeling. But I've noticed a few things about having this heart attack, and one of them is that a lot of people are disappointed when I tell them I didn't see a bright light or hear heavenly choirs. I mean, they're disappointed. I'm just disappointed that I'm still here. That being said, when you go through a life event like this, you can't help but start thinking about some of the things in your life and some of the things that you've been doing that you didn't really think about before. And you want to make some changes, and you want to try and figure out a different way of living. At least that's the way I approached it. I'm sure some people have an event like this and go right back into their routines. But I really wanted to make a conscious effort to think about my life and about who I was and to make some changes. I'm trying not to hurry mentally through every single day. I'm trying to relax and take things as they come and live life in a more conscious way, a more straightforward way. I also want to try and be nicer, to do better with people. I have a tendency to be a little bit of a grouch. But I just want to live a better life, and I want to be happier, and I want to realize the things around me. I've got to tell you, that event itself was really something that changed my life, and I appreciate it. Thank you for listening.